Hello and welcome to a new video. Today we're gonna take a look at a very strong team in the Open Great League, which kinda got forgotten, to be fair. This team is one that's around basically since the Go Battle League started, with the Skarmory, the Sableye, Saysop, here of course XL. Back in the day it was not XL, you had a Hundo, most of the times best buddied, back on the old days where you didn't have all the XL Pokemon that are super bulky like the opponent's Azumarill here. And of course we're going to have our Shadow variant of the Swampert in the lead. The combination between like Swampert as well as the Skarmory is one of the oldest ones for Go Battle League, the best course basically back in the day. And funny enough, here first game already, we're going to encounter another Skarmory, which is kinda wild because this Pokemon is basically nowhere to be seen usually, and then the one time I'm using it myself, we're going to encounter one, which is honestly, like, I've never really seen this Pokemon at all recently anymore, sadly. But here we're going to be able to encounter one, and also we're going to be able to go for one charge move here, Sky Attack coming through, and we can now farm down afterwards. Even if Brave Bird we're going to be able to swipe, and honestly, moving forward, maybe actually we're going to see a different moveset on Skarmory, because a Brave Bird is kinda, of course it's very nice. For example, here we're going to be able to do some pretty nice damage and put them now into range for one Hydro Cannon, where we're going to be able to snipe the opponent as well. But you have to see that Carbing is going to be around, and if you're going to give this Pokemon Flash Cannon as a secondary charge move, this would allow this Pokemon to just destroy Carbing without even having to do anything else. Like, it's most likely going to just one-shot a Carbing and still super effective. So this might be actually the way to go moving forward, just to give this Pokemon the move Flash Cannon, but right now Carbing isn't as prominent anymore, so like I actually don't really encounter too many of them. I think I encountered 3 so far in like 200 games. So yeah, it's not really the biggest issue right now. So we're still going to have the standard moveset, but moving forward it might be very decent. But here's, for example, one reason why Skarmory might be also very decent. For example, against a Pokemon like the Vigoroth, you're going to be able to just go ahead and take those body slams. But yeah, this Pokemon are going to be able to both resist the Bulldoze as well as the body slams, which is going to definitely benefit here quite a bit. But still, counter is going to do neutral damage, and counter is also very, very strong. So it's not really ideal. I really wish that they maybe buff the Air Slash a little bit. That would be really helpful for this Pokemon. I feel like it's definitely needed to buff Air Slash a little bit here as well. Just make it a clone of Magical Leaf, which is one more energy generation and one more damage generation, which should make this Pokemon directly a little bit better. So that would be really cool to see. To be fair, I think an Air Slash buff is also something that wouldn't break anything else. I don't think there's any Pokemon right now that really runs Air Slash. So I think that would be a cool thing. Would also buff Mandibuzz, of course. Would maybe buff some other Pokemon, but I think those two are the main Pokemon that get buffed by an Air Slash buff. So maybe next season we're gonna see a little bit more of this Pokemon if it ever gets buffed. But here we're going to be able to win this game with our Sableye. So team is kinda clear. We're going to have an answer here, lead, that's going to be able to answer those Steel-type Pokemon, as for example the Sandslash here. And we're going to have a Saysop of the Sableye, which will try to get out any kind of Pokemon that you don't really want to face with a Pokemon in the back. You also have a ground type in the lead, which is actually really important for this team as well. You kind of have to really have the core here with the Swampert, because it's going to allow you as well to get out the Lantern if we swap out into the Sableye, which also happened quite a bit. Like, you're going to see it here as well in the video. I think Needy all battles are actually in here. I think we have a little bit of a longer video. I didn't really cut that much out. So we're going to have here now the entire farm down against the Sableye, allowing us to get some energy, and we're going to now get out the Sandslash again. We're going to be able to go for a charge move here right now. This is going to be a Sky Attack going to knock them out, and we're gonna get out the Medicham, which I kinda expected. You kinda have Medicham together with the Sandslash. It's like a very common core. That's why I predicted, and that's why I also kept my Sableye alive in the back. And this is something that they cannot really do, like they cannot do anything anymore, to be fair. We can just go ahead and go for some Shadow Claw down, go up to 2 foul plays. They want to throw, I'm fine with this. I'm going to let this move go through. We have 2 moves stored now, and there's nothing that they can do. They even go for 1 counter here right now. They don't even have another move stored as well. Yeah, this is going to be a good game there. We're going to be able to just knock them out. And we can move over into the next game. We're going to have a Registeel in the lead, getting out now the Sableye. How do you play this? You're going to go straight for 1 charge move here with your Swampert. That's going to allow the Sableye now here to hopefully farm them down. It's going to be a close one. Sometimes you have to throw, and maybe actually should have thrown here, but I was lucky and was able to farm them down. I'm fairly certain they were either one over the move or like literally just at the move, so it's always a little bit tricky there. Definitely count the energy of the opponent. But here we're going to be able to now go for even some charge moves against the opponent's Registeel, allowing me to get them low and also gonna get out the Charizard. And here's the thing right now. Charizard, of course, going to be a little bit tricky to deal with for us with the Skarmory, so we have to go into our Swampert. But they have a ton of energy here, so now they can just spam those Dragon Claws, and they're definitely going to get rid of both of my shields. But I should be able to get to another charge move fairly easy here as well. It was super important that I still get to a move with the Sableye against the opponent. So here we're now going to be able to have our Hydro Cannon against the opponent's Dragon Claw, and this will be enough to knock them out, of course. But now it's going to be a little bit tricky because of the Registeel in the back. And we're going to now go ahead and take a charge move, and luckily we're going to not be in a range where they can farm us down. We can take one Zap Cannon, and we will be able to not get to another move, but it doesn't really matter. We are going to have now a Registeel without any energy against a Swampert, which still had a little bit of energy and also still enough health. So this is going to be a good game. Let's take a look at the next opponent here right now. We're going to encounter here the Swampert against a Deoxys defense. I don't like this matchup. I really don't like this matchup, I have to say. It's a little bit tricky. We can try to go ahead and go for the swap here. I maybe should have went for one more fast move, but we're gonna get out the Bastion. But honestly, I have to say, I misplayed this matchup also quite a bit, and I regret a lot of things I did here. So let's take a look at this matchup here. We're going to have now the Sableye against the opponent's Bastion. It's already very decent that we're going to get this Pokemon out of the way, because you see in the back, we are going to still have our Skarmory, which does not have to deal with this Pokemon. And I shouldn't have shielded this move. Like, by no means it was a smart decision to shield this move up, because I still get to another one. I could have went out of this scenario here with basically both of my shields and a ton of energy on my Swampert against Deoxys defense that also would need it, and also here the Sableye. So having two shields would have been so much better for me than anything that I got here right now, plus the energy I would have gained as well. It just didn't make any sense at all what I really did there. So yeah, this is not really looking too good for us right now. Maybe we can still win this game, but it's going to be a tough one. Maybe I actually should have went into my Sableye here as well, forcing the opponent to throw another charge move. And honestly, I definitely should have done that. And again, I misplayed this here. So, like, this is the thing anyway. If you lose battles, it's also something that you can definitely try to mimic. Just try to look at the battles again, like try to record them and see why do you lose battles. And for example, here I made a huge misplay, which I also realized already immediately when I did it. And I just was hoping basically that I could farm down in 3 Shadow Claws, which just barely didn't work out. So that was like my own risk that I took, and that didn't work out at all for me. So yeah, honestly, could have won this game for sure if I just played it better. Should have just no-shielded my Sableye, should have just went ahead and basically let the Swampert knock out the opponent's Bastion and just get all the energy in the world. Here we're going to now get the Medicham onto our Sableye, which of course is exactly where we want to have it. And we will be able to take those Ice Punches without any doubt here, as we're going to now get a ton of energy, and that's going to be a very crucial point for us as well. We're going to be able to now get so much energy here that we're gonna get to 2 foul plays, and this is going to be very nice for me, because 2 foul plays gonna put them around like the deep-ish yellow health here, close to the red health, I think. So I think it's like basically always perfect 33% per foul play, which is kind of funny. But we can go ahead and go into our Skarmory. A Rock Slide here, it's neutral, it is non-step, it's going to do way less damage than, for example, the Drill Run against our Swampert. This is going to be our bulky Pokemon, our Swampert isn't. And like this, we're going to even get a ton of energy here, and we're going to encounter a Trevenant in the back, something that I actually expected. So I was now able to go ahead and go for 2 Sky Attacks. I actually expected either this Pokemon or Noctowl in the back. Either of them did make sense, because I need some answer for the Medicham. Otherwise, you have an issue with that. And this is actually a team that's kind of similar to what I usually play as well. Like, it's also in one of my top team videos as well. So definitely a very cool team, but of course, if you know how to play against it like I did, it's fairly easy to play against it. Here we're going to now encounter a Lantern against us. Against a player that's already Legend. You see, by the way, I'm not Legend yet. My plan for the next week is actually to try to play as many Legend teams from other people and like rank 1 teams as possible. And don't really try to go ahead and go for some funny teams or whatever, and really try hard to hit Legend for next week. It's actually already the time where I'm like, usually like I would be Legend already for like 2 weeks. at this point of time. Usually I hit it like around after 1 month into the season, but this season I just didn't really try hard too much so far. I didn't really play a team for longer than 2 sets, so there are a lot of teams where I'm like, oh, this is such a great team, but then I have all the gameplay that I need, and I make a video, and then I'm going to sack the team, and then I will never play it again. So it's always a little bit tricky. Here my opponent actually going to be able to catch a move onto the Trevenant with our Swampert here, going for the Hydro Cannon, but it doesn't really matter because we're gonna get a ton of energy here now against the opponent. I'm going to use my shield as a Shadow Ball, going to do the most amount of damage, but they're gonna even go for the Seed Bomb, I think, there, but it doesn't really matter anyway, because I can just go ahead and go for a charge move against the Lantern. The Lantern has a ton of energy, basically 100, but I can now take 1 charge move, and I don't know if they know how much energy I have on my Sableye, and they didn't, because they're gonna go for a CMP here right now, which basically seals the deal. They know this as well, they're going to let this move go through, and that's going to be a very good game. You see already how strong this team, by the way, still is. I actually got a 5-0 with this as well, which was really, really nice. So easy 5-0 with the Skarmory team. Still, it's so funny, because this team is like so old already. This team is here literally already since like season 1 or something of Go Battle League, so it's really cool to see that such an old team can still function super well. One issue for this team is definitely though the Altaria leads, which all of a sudden came out as well. Didn't really consider this Pokemon even in the current meta right now, but I think I encountered 2 of them or 3 of them. It's always a little bit tricky. Like, you can play out the matchup with a Sableye a little bit longer if you want to. Here, just try to get as much energy with my Skarmory as possible. Hopefully they don't have an answer for Skarmory in the back. But they're gonna go ahead and go for the Moonblast anyway. They're gonna go have a Registeel in the back, and they're going to have a Medicham in the back as well. So at this point of time, there's nothing that I can really do. The opponent's double weak to Charm again as well, which is kind of wild. But as you're going to see right now, we can go for the Hydro Cannon here. But yeah, honestly, even if we hit the Earthquake, which we do, Earthquake sadly is still not enough to knock out the opponent here, spoiler alert, because yeah, it's sadly, like, this matchup in the one-shot scenario is just so sad. Like, even if you bait, you're not going to be able to win this one. And like this, I can just forfeit because we have a Registeel line. Like, we literally got hardwalled the entire way through for this team here, so it's totally okay for me to lose this one, I guess. As we're going to have another Deoxys against us. One thing that I also encountered the entire time with this team was a triple counter. I don't know why, but I think I encountered in 13 games I played 3 times triple counter, which is kind of weird to see, like, Deoxys 3 times in the lead, then, like, okay, he has a double instead of a counter user in terms of Vigoroth. But we're still going to be able to at least get some damage onto them and catch the Body Slam onto our good friend Skarmory. Skarmory also going to go ahead and now go for the full farm down against the opponent, but of course we're 1 shield down, which is not really ideal here right now. But at least I'm going to be able to go ahead and go for the full farm down here. I'm gonna go for 1 more fast move and then go for the Sky Attack, and it's actually going to be a CMP here. I don't know how this really happened, but I'm of course going to let this move go through here as well. And I can actually go ahead and go into my Swampert to farm them all the way down, but I decided to go into my Sableye, which was maybe not the smartest idea yet. But here we're going to now encounter the Night Slash. No, it's actually Obstruct, and this is going to be super, super bad for me. If it was Night Slash, it would have been so much better, because Night Slash is going to just do damage usually, while Obstruct is going to buff their own defense, and this is actually the issue here right now. I will be able to go for 1 charge move, I can go for another charge move as well, but this is going to be making it a little bit more tricky. I will get the shield from the opponent, I can go for 1 return here right now, but with the extra buff, I feel like 1 foul play will not be enough. And do we even get to the foul play is the question here right now. Because the Night Slash is coming through, we have to try to go for the foul play, but sadly they're gonna get to the next charge bomb in time. But spoiler alert, with the extra defense buff there, this wouldn't have knocked them out anyway, so I don't think there was a way to win this. Just because it was Obstruct. If it wasn't Obstruct, I think we were pretty clear there. Could have won this game fairly easy, but with Obstruct it's always a little bit tricky. We're going to encounter here the Sableye in the lead. We're going to swap out here for sure into our own Sableye, as we're gonna get out a Drapion. This is a funny thing about the Drapion matchup here, by the way. We can go ahead and bait, and a return would completely destroy the opponent, so they're most likely going to shield up the incoming foul play here. And now it's going to be again a guessing game on what the opponent is going to try to do here right now. So I'm going to overfarm again up to a return, and we're gonna go straight for the foul play, and this time around my opponent decides to go ahead and let this move go through. But I still will be able to outspeed them, go for another charge move, gonna get them low, gonna get the knockout here still, which is going to be very nice for me because now I can realign, and we're going to see that they're going to have a Sandslash in the back. We're still gonna get to the charge move here, which is really nice, as we even lagged for 1 turn there, but still at least reach this one, which was really nice for us, as we're now going to be able to go back into our Swampert. We're going to have a little bit more lag there as well in the beginning. But there you go for the Duran here, which I'm going to shield up. In comes the Sableye, I still should be able to survive it. And what I can do here right now is I can farm up to one charge move, swap out into my Skarmory, get as much energy as possible, and the opponent's Pokemon is already in range for just one Sky Attack, as we will be able to survive one foul play here pretty easily. Sky Attack is coming through, this would most likely knock them out, so they're going to shield this move up, and there's nothing they can do anymore. I will be even able to reach another Sky Attack in time here most likely, as the Ice Punch will not be enough to knock me out, and I will get to the Sky Attack to knock out the opponent here, winning us this game as well, as we can move on into, I think, already the final game for today's video. Let's take a look at the final one. We're going to have here the Deoxys. Also, if you're still watching this, definitely let me know in the comment section what your favorite flying type Pokemon is. Because Skarmory is a cool flying type Pokemon, but honestly, there is another steel flying type Pokemon that's hopefully going to find its way into the game fairly soon, when Niantic going to release the new generation here, because it's going to be like a Route 1 Pokemon. It's most likely going to be fairly common. It's going to be even better than the Skarmory. It's going to be definitely a cool one to take a look at, and it's also just a cool Pokemon in general. So yeah, let me know in the comment section if you're still listening right now. But now we're going to still have the opponent's Obstagoon. We're actually going to be able to knock them out. And here is again another triple counter team, which is kind of funny, as we're now going to get another foul play onto the opponent. And they're going to get so much energy, which I literally just don't care about, because our Skarmory is just going to tank those plays down like it's nothing. And just the counter would really damage me. And again here, we're going to use a shield against the incoming Thunderbolt. I can go into my Swampert, I can overfarm by a little bit, I can shield up another charge move. And as long as I'm going to be able to hit 2 Hydro Cannons here, or like get to 2 Hydro Cannons, which I'm going to be able to do here right now, you should be in a very decent spot, as we're going to get the first shield. This is going to be a CMP tie, we're going to get them into the red health, and this is going to be basically it for this game already, because they have no chance really to do anything here anymore. I will even be able to reach another charge move, and this seals the deal. And I hope you enjoyed this video. This Pokemon is still very good. Skarmory is still a Pokemon that you definitely should try out if you have it. And I hope I see you in the next one. Bye bye.